Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hobby Night Gaming. I am the Chaos Cultist.
And I am Angela.
And today we are continuing Stories from Seoul, the Gundog. Last time we finally finished touring the entirety of our small, I think it's a Corvette, it might be a frigate, but our small attack craft, and we have finally encountered El Capitan.
And she is awesome looking. I'm so excited.
We identify the captain almost immediately by her uniform, although we are given pause to wonder if we've misjudged, as she listlessly straightens up and heads over to us with an air of disinterest. The other woman shoots you a look, but remains seated at her station, quickly turning away as she realizes you've caught her looking your way, our way. You presume from her position on the bridge, she must be a member of operations like Cassandra. This must be the Vanessa she mentioned. Lieutenant Jack Chaos entering the bridge and reporting for formal assignment. I declare, throwing a sharp salute, with Cassandra quickly following suit.
Lieutenant Commander Cassandra Quinn entering the bridge in accompaniment of Lieutenant Chaos.
We're taken back slightly as we realize that we've hardly ever seen Cassie be serious about anything, even her own position. Whenever she's had to talk about her assignments, it's always been dismissive or in a joking way. You're caught so off guard that you almost miss the captain addressing us.
At ease, Lieutenant. Lieutenant Commander.
Cassie and I both lower our salutes and loosen our posture slightly. There's a slight pause, which we can tell is the captain sizing us up. This informal assessment lasts a bit longer than we're comfortable with, until the captain releases a heavy sigh.
Welcome aboard, Lieutenant. I was beginning to get worried that the notification we'd had that you'd come aboard had been a system issue. I trust that you haven't had too hard of a time finding your way to the bridge to introduce yourself.
No, ma'am, I was just... We glance over to Cassandra, who is maintaining a completely straight face. Quote, we can check out anywhere you want before we head up there. Yeah, right, so this is your fault.
It is not my fault.
We fix our gaze straight ahead. This wouldn't be the first time that Cassandra's lackadaisical attitude has gotten us in trouble with higher-ups. I was just familiarizing myself with the ship in case I came up with any queries that I could field to you.
Oh, is that so? Well, anything you'd like to ask?
No, ma'am.
Very good. Well, I'm glad you can make it. Eventually. This mission is an urgent one, which is why we departed as soon as you came aboard without a formal reception.
Thinking about it, it was unusual that there hadn't been a formal onboarding process beyond the dock staff checking our ID and guiding us to the Gundog. We hadn't realized it in our rush, but now it was obvious. But it did make sense that if this was an urgent dispatch, the ship would launch as soon as all the crew were aboard. My apologies, ma'am. My transport was...
Running late, yes. We'd been sent word. That wouldn't have anything to do with you, would it?
No, ma'am. There was a breakdown on the...
Anyway, Lieutenant, I'd like to take the opportunity to formally welcome you to the JFS Gundog. My name is Captain Myers Bartamuse. I run as tight a ship as you'd expect, and I anticipated that you'll care... Wow, I can't read. I am so sorry, chat. Or not chat. Folks watching this, let me start over. I run as tight a ship as you'd expect, and I anticipated that you'll carry out your duties to the same standard.
Yes, ma'am. From experience, most onboarding procedures have involved greetings and speeches from the captain that have ranged from serious to almost ceremonial. In comparison, Captain Bartamuse's introduction is almost lethargic.
Your card, Lieutenant.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we have received our first item. The item button has become available.
Woohoo!
We select. Bam! It's my security access card. As security officer, it allows me to access almost anywhere or anything on the ship. She inspects it for a moment before taking it to a control panel near the captain's chair. You remain in position, not quite at ease, but not quite at attention. So be at attention. You watch as she enters some commands into the console and inserts your card into the slot. There's a whirring sound followed by a series of beeps, boops, and before our card is ejected and the captain takes it back. By selecting the function button, we can now access a map of the ship, allowing us, to fast travel.
Woohoo!
If an event happens somewhere in the ship, you will move to that location instead. You can also view your current objectives and other important information.
Nice. With this Lieutenant Chaos, you now have access to all areas and authorities befitting the ship's security details. Your responsibilities begin with immediate effect.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're also now authorized to take an appropriate electroshock weapon from the armory. If you have any further questions, then you know where to find me. Dismissed.
Bam! Yes, ma'am. Alright, let's look around this room. With the exception of some physical controls, a ship of this size can be controlled entirely from the bridge. Navigation, automated combat systems, security measures, you name it, it can all be done by a few crew members in this room. Yep, so left side does the exact same thing. Let's look at the captain's chair. That's the captain's chair. Although the majority of the ship can be controlled by the operations staff, there's a few select systems that only the captain can authorize, and they're all done from that chair.
My God.
You need a captain's clearance level to access them, though, so it's not like you can just sit down and activate them. The bridge is one of the few places on the ship where you can actually see out into space. During combat, these windows are covered by blast shutters, and the bridge crew rely on sensors and small cameras mounted on the ship's exterior. Really would not ever actually happen.
What? You mean like...
The bridge of a starship would more than likely never have a
viewport to the...
No.
To the... Yeah, I was gonna... it does seem a little odd.
Because one, they could easily just have giant 8K screens going to the cameras outside the ship.
Right.
For beautiful, fancy views.
Yep.
That would give them the same thing, right? You go like, what if they shoot one of the cameras? Well, what if they shoot the window?
I'd be more concerned about them shooting the window,
exactly,
honestly.
Right? The best science, and you've watched it, the best science fiction show that ever did an actual starship was Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, yeah.
Because they treated it the same way that the like command bridge is on an actual ship, which is, you know, a bit more protected.
Yes.
Not the comms tower, but the actual
the actual
bridge.
command, yeah.
Yep. All right, so at this point, I don't think we want to use anything in here. So it's the function button I hit to get the map, or...
That's what it said.
Yep, there's the map. Okay, so these are our objectives.
Excellent.
So we haven't introduced ourselves to anyone yet. We still have to go to the armory, of course. We need to visit the airlock, catch up with Cassandra, and there's also a hangar and a mess hall.
Okay.
And this appears to be the wiki.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. It's a lot of extra information. Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
I saw that flash. I was like, am I supposed to go there? But I don't think so. That's our quarters. Cassandra's quarters. Captain's quarters.
Okay, so it's a fun layout of the actual ship. That's cool.
Yeah, one of the objectives was to visit the airlock, so I'm going to go to the airlock.
Cool. And this is the main airlock. It's the main way to get on and off the ship when it's docked.
Thanks. But I've been here before. I boarded the ship here.
Oh, really? When?
You know, I think I'm confusing it with somewhere else. Well, can you tell me?
Oh, well, it's got one of the best views on the ship, for one thing.
We look around, but can't see any windows. We wouldn't expect it on a military vessel where an inclusion like that could compromise the structure anyway. Here, really, you think?
Yeah, really. Check it out.
No, Cassandra! Cassandra strides over to the terminal set in the wall next to the airlock hatch and quickly begins typing commands into it. You hear a sequence of beeps and she stands back, gesturing proudly to the screen.
Not too bad, huh?
I really thought she was opening the airlock. I look at the screen, but all we can see is a dark display with a few errant pixels suspended on it. Is it working?
Of course. It's working. Look.
We stare a little harder at the screen, and although it takes us a moment, we eventually realize. Oh, that's an external feed. This is the thing you should have going up to the bridge so it doesn't kill them.
That's right. Normally you can only see out of the Gundog from either the bridge or the hangar. But the ship's covered in small cameras for combat situations. You can access the feed from the terminals around the ship.
That's actually pretty cool, but isn't the view from the bridge or the hangar better, because they're actually looking out?
Well, maybe, but there's always someone else around. You never get to view to yourself. No one comes here, and it's so quiet, it's almost like you're out there.
I guess I can see what you mean. It's pretty quiet out this way, and with a fancy screen like that, it's basically high definition enough.
I knew you'd understand. I'll add to the command to your terminal access. That way you can come here and see the stars whenever you want.
Thanks. Alright, we got spacesuits, airlock. What's this? Underneath this panel is the manual control for the external airlock hatch. Okay, so if we ever have to pop this, that's what we'll need to access. Suits, hatch, controls.
Makes sense.
Alright. So, where else? We have not been to the hangar.
You could also go to the armory and get your gun.
Yeah, I figured we'd go to all the places first, though. As the two of us head down the four-side thoroughfare away from the crew quarters, Cassie stops by a double-sized door and runs her keycard through the reader next to it.
Watch your step.
She instructs me, tapping her knuckles on a large warning sign next to the door that reads, Low Gravity Zone. Once the door opens, she heads through and you follow her into a wide stairwell. It only takes 2 sets of steps before you can feel yourself grow lighter. By the time we reach the doorway at the bottom, we're almost floating. Stepping into the hangar and onto the catwalk, the first thing that strikes us are the profiles of the 2 armored frames standing as if on guard, facing into the main area of the hangar. Although we fully expected to see them here, every Jovian ship features at least a few. The sight of the armored frames stirs uncomfortable memories in us, and we inadvertently grit our teeth and squeeze the handrail we've grabbed tightly. Ma'am! They're firing on us! There's so many of them! Oh my god, ma'am, help!
The line of retreat's totally cut off! We can't get back to the ship! Ma'am, what do we do? What do we do?
Stop panicking and form up! 3 and 4 on me! We're going to punch a hole through their formation and...
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I think it's just the PTSD and change in the gravity level left me a little queasy is all.
I'm sorry, what was that first thing you
The
said?
change in the gravity.
Oh, yeah, I know how you feel. I was late for a hangar audit once and rushed downstairs after a big lunch. I was moving so fast that with the gravity shifts, my stomach contents couldn't keep up.
Ew.
Tell me about it. I did everything I could to keep my mouth shut. You know the rule for low gravity zones. What you spew is left up to you. I wasn't going to be late and on cleanup duty too.
You have to clean up your own vomit.
Let's see.
Speaking of duties, shouldn't there be someone around here?
Oh yeah, Dalton should be around here somewhere. If you're feeling funny, stay here for a moment and I'll go see if I can find him.
Sure. We watch as, despite the 15-meter difference between the catwalk and the hangar floor, Cassie nonchalantly places her 2 hands on the handrail and deftly vaults over it into the emptiness. I mean, I would do that, like, constantly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Thanks to the low gravity, she doesn't fall, but instead kicks off the railing, propelling herself through the air, which I think is literally the introduction of a girl in Gundam.
Yeah.
As Cassandra drifts off, eventually catching onto one of the armored frame's legs and using it to swing herself around to float in a different direction, we place our elbow on the railing and our head in our hand. We turn our attention back to the stoic features on the armored frame's heads and sigh deeply. Our attention is caught by the cockpit hatch on one of the frames being half open. Looking around, we see everything as we'd expect. Armored frame weapon racks, storage containers, various equipment, all of it restrained appropriately and fastidiously arranged. The cockpit hatch is the only thing that breaks that pattern.
It's weird, I can't find him anywhere. I know it's definitely his
cockpit.
ship right now, so he should be around here somewhere.
Looking past Cassandra at the armored frame within the ajar cockpit hatch, a thought strikes us. Yeah, I think I know where he is. Follow me. We carry out the same vaulting maneuver that Cassie had performed and kick off towards the huge machine's cockpit. Once close enough, we grab a hold of its arm and pull ourselves up towards the open hatch. A few seconds later, Cassie appears beside us, and we both notice the sound of gentle snoring coming from within the cockpit. Well, Lieutenant Commander, I think this is an operations issue, so I'll let you handle it.
Leaving the discipline up to me again. Huh.
Cassandra nimbly clambers up the armored frame, positioning herself right above the cockpit. Bracing herself on the machine's chest, she brings her heel down sharply and repeatedly on the armor.
Cadet Grange? Cadet Grange, attention!
You hear a muffled scream from within the cockpit, followed by a dull thud. A string of muttering curses, and then finally a figure emerges from the cockpit. Ma'am! I was just checking the calibrations. The calibrations of the, some feedback that... Oh, it's just you, Commander Quinn.
Excuse me? Just?
Is that how you address a superior officer, Cadet? Oh, ma'am! No, ma'am! I was not expecting to see you in the hangar, ma'am!
Okay, you can tone it down a bit, Dalton.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Good enough, I suppose. Anyway, Cadet, this is Lieutenant Chaos, ship's security officer.
Oh, sir! Cadet Dalton Grange, junior engineer. Good to meet you, Cadet. Looks like they've got you working hard. Looks like, no, sir, well, yes, sir, but not so hard that I'm falling asleep. No, sir, I was recalibrating the sensors array, and... Take it easy, Cadet. We've all taken a nap in a cockpit in our lives. Well...
Of course, we never took cockpit naps with the chief giving us our orders, so you probably need to get back on whatever you were doing then, huh?
Oh, I totally forgot she's going to kill me.
Good kid, right?
I feel sorry for him already. Alright, let's look at these mechs. Those 2 armored frames are both Juno models. The workhorse of the Jovian colony's fleet military, they look like they are a newer type than the ones I piloted on the Kalik. Almost piloted. Hangar hatch controls? The hangar is also used to store the various tools and equipment that the engineering team used throughout the ship. A lot of the machinery is used for moving freight or AF equipment around. Most of these crates contain mechanical supplies, spare parts, tools, etc. There's a few that contain all the long-life ingredients for the vendmate in the mess hall, and then some that contain various essentials for the crew. On a ship like this, it's operations duty to act like a quartermaster, but I've been on some ships where if you're friendly with the hangar crew, they can sneak you out the good stuff. Not that I condone that kind of thing. obviously. Alright, so we need to get our sidearm. We need to go to the mess hall. But let's go ahead and get that sidearm. What do you think of that?
Sounds great.
Alright, I do apologize if you can hear the yard work going on outside right now. I think I'll be able to get it mostly quieted, but you might hear a chainsaw in the background.
It's okay, we're just fighting zombies.
Yes, right. We swipe our key card through the card reader set into the terminal by the armory's door. There's a slight delay, but quickly enough, the terminal flashes the message, "Access granted," and the door slides open.
Heck yeah. Ooh.
The first thing we notice about the armory is that the benches and lockers remind us of the locker rooms from the training center back in the military academy on Europa Colony. As we walk past them, we take a closer look and realize that they're the same kind of benches used on the larger ships we've been stationed on, the ones with sports facilities and changing rooms on board. Instead of sports clothing and equipment, these lockers are filled with a selection of combat gear from body armor or electroshock weapons to a variety of small and light weapons.
You know, this is the first time I've ever actually been inside the ship's armory.
It's not really surprising. It's only the security detail that would have access normally. Even in a situation where the ship's expecting to encounter a boarding party, it's security's responsibility to distribute the weaponry to the crew in advance. It's to ensure there's no panic and that crew don't get a hold of weaponry they're not trained to use.
Huh.
That's standard regulation. You should know that.
Well... All I remember from my firearms training was when I dropped my electroshock weapon and accidentally zapped one of the other girls from operations.
I am honestly surprised they did not court-martial you then and there.
I mean, the fact that she's advanced this far, like the fact that she is a lieutenant commander.
Like, I'm not a vet.
How-
I'm not a vet, but if you're in basic and you drop your training firearm and shoot another cadet, surely that
I mean, you would definitely get reprimanded. I don't know if you get court-martialed specifically.
you'd be dismissed, right?
I think it depends on if it was your first time or not and the circumstances.
I guess
But
I'm thinking in an enlisted, you probably would. I guess if it's a draft, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. I think even with enlisted, they would still like give you the benefit of the doubt first, just because like they don't necessarily want to get rid of
fair.
soldiers. But
Fair.
like, but I do like. I am surprised that this girl, with how absent-minded, unclean, and like honestly kind of dumb she seems to be, like
Maybe it's the same
she
as
got this far.
accidentally tasing someone, I guess, or pepper spraying someone.
Yeah, like I guess it must not have been considered that bad.
Yeah. This is you.
Oh, sorry. Our trainer made me use a hand crank battery charger to recharge all of the power packs as punishment.
That must have taken forever.
You bet! But you should have seen my gun shows afterwards. Pew pew!
Uh-huh. Which reminds me, the captain said I was authorized to collect my sidearm. I should get it while I'm here.
Is he not the only security guy? Why is this locker room so huge? I mean, I guess like it's so that he can arm other people too, but
Yep.
I'm just like,
Alright, we have the security details spacesuits. They're a little more robust than the suits handed out to the rest of the crew for obvious reasons, but aside from that, they don't offer much tactical advantage. Locker room containing electroshock weapons. I think we want to use that then. This is the weapons locker with the electroshock weapons in it. I'm authorized to take one small weapon from here as part of my role as security officer. This one will do.
yay!
Yay!
You have a pistol.
What's that?
It's my standard issue duty weapon for my role as security officer. Are you new at doing this? It fires a barred projectile that contains a miniature battery. It's non-lethal, but more than enough to stop someone in their tracks.
I see.
Wow, what a gun on top of.
Huh?
Absolutely not.
Aw, come
Did I
on.
miss something? I'm sorry.
No, we both sat there and I thought about how I wanted to use the gun. You thought about how I was thinking about wanting to use the gun. And then I looked up at you and you were like, no. That's all that happened.
No.
It's exactly what would have happened in real life. between you and I if I went, hey, can I hire this Luger or something? I don't know. And you'd be like, no.
No. Alright, before we call this a day, let's go ahead and visit the mess hall.
Heck yeah.
And get something to eat.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
And here we have the highlight of this entire tour. The mess hall. Check out my lovely vending machines.
Cassandra's face is radiating happiness as she gestures through the double doorway that you're stood by into the mess hall. Looking inside, you see a canteen like any other. Table, chairs, vending machines, it's all there, baby. So this is the highlight. It looks like a pretty standard mess hall to me.
You bet. Do you know why?
Tell me.
Because they've got both the different kinds of vending machines, red one that stocks the spicy potato chips, and the white one that has all the different chocolate bars.
Wow. So that's all the bases covered, huh?
They've got all the fundamental food groups.
I'm not sure.
Hey, Quinn!
A rough voice calls out from further in. You hadn't noticed them previously because of Cassandra's enthusiastic presentation of the vending machines, but someone sat in the far corner someone who was sitting there stands up and drops a half-smoked cigarette into a coffee cup and strides over. I looked in this corner. I mean, that's a woman.
What's going on, Quinn? Who's this?
That wasn't rough.
Okay, sorry, hold on. What's going on, Quinn? Who's this?
Oh, Lieutenant Rubney, were you just smoking in the mess hall?
Alright, I'll take this.
Take it easy, Quinn. I was sat right next by the extractor vent for the meal vendor. No harm, no foul.
That's not the point. The extra strain on the air scrubbers from cigarette...
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't think that's a... Is that a girl?
who's this hobby?
Okay, maybe it's a girl.
Well, that's got her tongue. Name's Haru. Haru Romney. What about you, good looking?
Oh, Lieutenant Jack Chaos, ship security.
Jack Chaos. No way, really?
Last time I checked.
Well, alright. Alright. Good to know. That's all for me, Chaos. You know what my quarters are, right?
Yeah?
Nice. Catch you later.
She wants to boink you.
What was all that about? Cassie?
You know room is, do you?
I mean, I do. It's near mine. I didn't. That's their room is right by mine. I didn't mean it in it. That was probably it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will call it for this episode of Stories from Soul the Gundog. Next time, I have a feeling the main story will actually start kicking off. In the meantime, I have to go deal with this angry anime girlfriend.